I'm looking at the preview for this video on my watch and I look like a Tony Stark wannabe. These are just blue light glasses. Hi! Hello! This is really different to my other two videos that are up on my channel so far, but I hope that people still enjoy this. I don't want to call it a podcast because it's technically not a podcast. I don't think I articulate myself well enough for this to be considered a podcast. But if the shoe fits, if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck. I don't know. If you would classify this as a podcast, if you would, please let me know because I'm curious. I have my tea and this is a different setup than my other videos because I want this to be a more unedited type of video that I post. More organic, off the script, like talking about my opinions on things and expanding on opinions that I've shared in my videos. Now, when I say sharing opinions that I have in videos, I recorded the Twitch video twice. I had to cut out a lot from both versions actually because I actually recorded and edited the first version before scrapping it. But both versions I cut so much from because I had things that I said and all I could think of was, oh my god, they don't really care, they just want the information, which is so fair. I kind of get like that when it comes to video essays where I'm like, why is this person waffling on? And now that I've started making this genre of videos and I have started doing video content in the video essay analyst adjacent type of video, I do sometimes watch people's video essays and go, oh my god, please get to the point. Or in the sense of, oh, they're definitely like milking the watch time. You don't notice that as much when you're just a consumer and not actually creating. Anyway, I'm getting off sidetrack. So this is why I wanted to have this genre of video so I can go off on little side tangents. See, please let me know if you would consider this a podcast because to a degree, I do consider this a podcast, but also I don't think I'm established enough to have a podcast. I feel like everyone has a podcast nowadays and I don't want to be another person on that. I don't know. Anyway, so the purpose of this first video, I don't even know what I want to call it either, so if you have name suggestions, but I want to expand on my thoughts that I have in videos in an unscripted, loosely edited video format. So you can listen to this as background noise, or if you really do want more of an insight of my experience as a streamer and more advice where it's more organic, where it's less edited, please watch and enjoy. Use me as background noise. If you're cleaning your apartment, if you're doing your homework, if you're editing, if you're doing something, feel free, please watch this video. Let me know. My hair is really annoying me. Please let me know if this resonates with you. Anyway, so Twitch streaming. I started streaming in 2019 and I said full-time in my video. I want to say part-time because I wasn't streaming every day, but I was streaming. It was usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I believe. I was streaming at least 3 times a week. And it was while I was studying at uni and it was during COVID. So everyone was online and no one was outside. Some of it was after COVID, some of it was before COVID, but a lot of it was during COVID. And then I graduated uni, which I'm not going to disclose my degree or it kind of gives away where I went. But then I got my first corporate job and I was working overnights. I worked overnights for 3.5 years and there's nothing wrong with working overnights. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was from home. It was great. But it was starting to affect my health. I'm fine now. No one worry. So for the last 7 months, I have been working different hours than my old hours. With my new hours, I have a lot of room for creativity and a lot more free time. So I originally was looking for a new job. I was originally looking for a second job. Then I was looking at studying again. And then the job market, the studying, just everything is so bad. And then I thought to myself, okay, I'll get into journalism because it's something I've been really passionate about. Writing is a part of my current job. It was a part of my degree. To get into the journalism field as a freelancer is crazy. So that leads me to this. I'm using YouTube and creating video content, video journalism, if you will, to talk about things I want to talk about. And if I can't get platformed via traditional means, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to get platformed regardless, because I can do this. I can upload everything myself. I'm probably going to make a Substack. I believe that's what it is. I'll still upload my articles that I want to write because I like writing. Anyway, sidetracked. To go back to Twitch streaming. So, wow, I got really sidetracked, but that was just like a history lesson on where I've been up to until now. I streamed for a little bit this year, and it really solidified the fact that streaming just is no longer for me. I think it's still a great medium for content creation. However, I don't think it's discussed enough the toll streaming can have on one's mental health, especially when you have built up the idea of what streaming can look like for you as a creator and what it could be like for your future. My biggest streaming inspirations, and now they're just content creator inspirations, but people that I look up to and admire are people like Pokimane, Lily Pichu, Jodie, Valkyrie. I love all of them women and strong-headed, confident, beautiful women within the creative space. Because being a woman within this space is really hard. And you'll have people sit there and say it's not, but it is. Everyone that I've seen deal with like hate raids, I know they're not as much of a thing anymore, but whenever I saw people dealing with hate raids, whenever I dealt with hate raids, I always saw it happening to women. And on Twitter, I'll see Pokey posted something, or a really beautiful woman within the streaming field will post something and it will always get taken out of context. It will always be clipped wrong. Women can't walk away from a camera without their butt being clipped. There's so much things that makes it harder for women when it comes to streaming, and it takes such a toll on one's mental health. It really does. But tolls on mental health can also apply to anyone within the streaming industry. And I don't think people realize how much harder it is for the little guy, the little person with less of an audience when it comes to streaming, and how much harder it is to stay motivated to continue streaming. I think it's a lot easier for streamers that have I think it's a lot easier for streamers that have pre-established audiences on other platforms to move to Twitch and stream occasionally versus starting off on Twitch, especially nowadays. There are still some creators that do start off on Twitch, but nowadays they're usually posting on other platforms, and you do see some streamers that still don't post on other platforms. A really good lecture of this was actually done by Ludwig at Streaming University. I'll link his compilation video that he posted of his in both days that he was teaching. But a lot of people don't make it in the streaming industry because you have to have that drive. And I just didn't have it anymore. I feel so privileged to know amazing creative people and beautiful women and just beautiful, beautiful souls that are still pursuing streaming. And it makes me so happy to see them fulfilling and achieving things that I could no longer do because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And that sounds like, oh my God, like it's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. And I want to preface that it's not that big of a deal. However, it is when it comes to misogyny and the streaming space for women, because it is still incredibly bad, and honestly, it's getting worse in my humble opinion. But at the same time, it's really important to have women take up room in this space and create that sort of content. And it makes me so happy and fulfilled on their behalf that there are women taking up room and speaking out and being active on these platforms and creating safe spaces for other women and people of minority groups where we can have safe space for streamers. And Twitch does their best, but they also still participate in platforming people that should not be platformed. I think it's a tricky road to navigate, but also platforms need to take a side, pick a side, have a backbone when dealing with people that should not be on these goddamn platforms. Like, I think Asmongold recently got banned off Twitch, and I think his ban's like a month, if that. It might not even be that. And what he said, please look it up if you're curious, but what he said was atrocious. I promised myself I'm not going to curse. I really hope me talking about my experiences and everything in my original video doesn't deter anyone from streaming, because if you are truly passionate about it, I think it's really important to see more people stream, and I love seeing people come in or come out of their shells in the form of streaming. But it's also important to make sure that you're not doing everything with the idea of making it a career. And in part, that was my mistake. I desperately wanted streaming and content creation to be a career, versus now I'm using it as a stepping stone into working in video journalism and just journalism in general, and writing and even script writing, just doing things within creative spaces, because creative spaces, it's falling under the same thing as everything else, where if you don't know the right person, you're not getting anywhere. And now with AI as well, you're not getting anywhere. It's so bad working within creative fields, and I have so much respect for people that are in creative fields and in just any field at the moment, because the job market is atrocious. It is so bad. So if you have the means to be able to have a creative outlet, but also not have it be something that has to be monetized, I think it's really important to have that, in the sense of obviously monetize on Twitch if you have the opportunity, but don't go into it with the idea of, oh my god, I can make a job out of this. Have it as a creative outlet and leave it as that until it turns into something more. There's nothing wrong with having aspirations, but you need to be realistic. Sorry, that was my ring. I hope that wasn't too loud. And that's where I went wrong. I had too many dreams and I wasn't taking the correct steps to work towards it. And a big thing that streamers, big and small, do not do is cross post onto other platforms. I'm going to talk about some tips now and flesh out tips that I already expressed and spoke about. If you're not posting, so if you're a streamer, congratulations, you're better than me because I can't do it anymore. If you're a streamer and all you're doing is streaming, you're not posting on TikTok and YouTube, you're not going to get anywhere. I'm so sorry, but that is the case. I know posting on YouTube especially is so scary. Even building myself up to post this video, my other 2 videos, writing videos, it's really scary, especially with, and as an Australian, I'm going to explain that, I promise. It's really hard. And the reason why it's so hard is because being perceived and allowing people to be able to watch you fail, because you can't succeed if you don't fail in some way. What I mean by that is the people that are always successful in life are the same people that just do it and they just create the content and they don't overthink it. And that's really hard, especially if you're another Australian creative person in a creative field and you're creating content online. The roof within Australia in terms of being a content creator is so much lower in comparison to America because of LA and Hollywood and where a lot of the creative space is, unfortunately, for English speaking audiences. America is like the goal, and Australia has such a low roof when it comes to content creation. And then you also have tall poppy syndrome, and it's just so common in Australia where if you see anyone trying anything, there's gonna be someone that's trying to tear them down. And the people you surround yourself with when you're pursuing creative outlets, but just in general, are so important. I've had people in my life, and honestly, there's people still in my life where I'm so fearful of them judging me. And at some point though, you have to take a step back from yourself, from like a third person perspective, and think, I'm never going to achieve any of my creative aspirations if I don't just do it, you know? And that's why I'm doing this now. This YouTube channel, if you go to when it was made, I made this channel a long time. I think it's 2014 on the thing. I'll insert a photo. This account is old. I have videos dating back to when I think I was 14 with my first video. It's a Love Live School Idol Festival scouting video. I wish I was joking. I will post a screenshot in here of it. I have videos where I tried to dabble into YouTube as a teenager, but I just didn't do it properly because I was scared of how I would be perceived. And now I'm 26 and I'm still scared of how I'm gonna be perceived. Meanwhile, there's so many creative, beautiful, talented people that are doing the things I would love to do. And I'm always like, I wish that was me. When that could be me if I stop holding myself back because I'm scared that someone's gonna judge me. Everyone's judging people. And you know, if someone's taking all of their time to be judgmental of other people and how other people are spending their time, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. And if they're judging you for pursuing creative endeavors, or you're just having a creative outlet online by posting videos or streaming or Twitch streaming, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. And honestly, a lot of the times, they're just a really sad person. That's what it comes down to. I also, back to strictly Twitch streaming, I do want to be transparent. At the time of me recording this video, it wasn't at the time of me recording my original video, but at this point, I did receive an email from Twitch, actually, funnily enough, and they offered me Twitch partner. There's a lot of amazing people that have been offered this, but they're all people that either stopped streaming, dabbled in it, stopped, or people that don't stream, and they're offering people Twitch partner. And I think it's a real disservice to their pre-established streamers, and I think it's quite unfair. As I'm being transparent, I did turn it down because it's not something I'm passionate about anymore. I never hated streaming. I've just realized that it's no longer for me at the current point of my creative endeavors, because it felt more like a obligation rather than something that was exciting to do. Does that make sense? I'm gonna have some tea now because it's gonna go cold. Also, in addition with when I'm recording this, in comparison to my first video, Twitch has also done some dumb shit. I'm allowed to say shit, it's not a curse word, in my opinion. They have done some dumb shit in the past 48 hours with their new artificial intelligence crap. So if you don't want to stream on their platform, that is also completely understandable. I think more people should be streaming on YouTube, and I think cross-streaming is also a really good thing, and I think people should also do that. If you're wanting to get into streaming, don't box yourself into Twitch, but also don't stream on Kick. I was doing a whole thing earlier about not judging people. I will judge you if you stream on Kick. I can't, if you stream on Kick, I will judge you. Anyway, to get back to the whole gist and expanding, I don't know what to call this. I don't know. I'm just expanding with my opinions on and in relation to streaming. If it is something you are wanting to try it. Please try it. Please try it. But also, don't buy expensive things straight out the gate. You have to work your way up. This was a streaming microphone, and then my first ever microphone for streaming was the blue Snowball. I still have it. It was the Snowball microphone. It is a great microphone. It's a great entry-level microphone. If you're wanting to get into streaming, please start with that. But then I saved up and I bought this. And I love my HyperX Quadcast. I actually thought it broke, funnily enough, but then it's very clearly not broken. And then later on, I was very fortunate to have a collaboration with Logitech, and they sent me the Blue Yeti, and I like my Blue Yeti. I would not recommend it. It's a lot better for your ASMRs, you know, when you're on TikTok and it's like nearly your bedtime and you see those ASMR videos, 90% of the time they're using a Blue Yeti. But I wouldn't suggest using a Blue Yeti for streaming. There's a lot of great budget microphones. Do not start with that sort of microphone. Look at secondhand options. Look at sale times. But start off on the cheaper scale of buying things and investing in streaming, and use the money that you earn from streaming to upgrade your setup. Don't invest a shit ton of money and then be stuck with all these equipment when you discover when you discover a week, a month, a year down the line that it's not for you, and then you're just stuck with all this expensive stuff that you can't use. Streaming really is for everyone, and I really hope to see more women and minority groups within those creative spaces and creating content on Twitch. I don't consume a lot of content on Twitch unless I am watching a friend's VOD or if I have background noise, but more often than not I'm watching YouTube or having YouTube as background noise. I hope this did shed some more light as to why I personally stopped streaming and why I came to the conclusion that it was not the outlet that I currently want to be on. I still don't know what I want to call this genre of video, but at the moment I'm just doing it as when I want to expand on a topic I've discussed, where I do have a more personal view. I don't think there will be a lot of these unless something does come up and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to talk about that. But I don't have the time to create videos in the normal format. But I do have a lot of opinions about things, which is quite funny because at one point I said I never want to actually just sit and talk about my opinions on things online because people are scary. I've been doxxed. I think it was a fake dox on Twitter because of K-pop. Anyway, I digress. That's not important to this situation, this video topic. I hope you enjoyed joining me on my couch and listening to me expand on my opinions regarding Twitch streaming. Please do pursue streaming if you have a passion for streaming. That is my main point to convey within this, and I hope I articulated myself well and I kind of gave off Emma Chamberlain vibes, which I know I didn't, but I really enjoy her podcast, so I hope I did. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Please check out my other videos on my channel, and yeah, bye.